A house named after a Greek playwright, with a hoard of buried treasure, frescoes from the Trojan War, and possibly owned by a former empress. This is James from History Victorum. Join us as we explore the house of the Menander in the city of Pompeii. The house was first built in the 3rd century BC, making it already an ancient house by the time of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. The house is one of the richest houses in Pompeii, and grew over the years to contain a private stable and bathhouse. This main room, called the atrium, was surrounded by wall paintings which are still in their original position today. The room is lit by an opening in the roof, and this basin would have collected rainwater. This room is unique in that it contains well-preserved frescoes, each showing a different scene from the Trojan War. This would have been a public-facing room and was richly decorated. Straight ahead, we have Cassandra, daughter of King Priam, trying to warn the Trojans not to take the wooden horse into the city. On the left side, during the fall of Troy, Cassandra is being dragged away by lesser Ajax. She clings to the wooden statue of Athena. King Priam watches on in the center. On the right side, we have the death of Laocoon. Laocoon was a priest who also tried to warn the Trojans not to take the wooden horse into the city, and threw a spear at the horse. In retaliation, Minerva sent sea serpents to kill him and his sons. The only items that were found here during excavation was an iron hinge and a gold coin. The purpose of this room is not known. It's thought that the house was being refurbished at the time of the eruption. On the way out to the garden would have been a table where business is conducted and the master of the house would receive guests. This area is called the tablinum. The landscaping here in the garden is a modern creation. Originally it would have had a fountain and a small pool with a statuette of Apollo. On this wall there is a dining room with 2 living rooms on either side. This dining room is the largest room in the house, and one of the largest dining rooms in all of Pompeii. The remains of a marble table, couches, a bronze jar for cooking, and hinges indicating a number of folding doors were found in this room. In this room we have a scene from a lost play written by Euripides called Antiope. Only fragments of the play survive today. Here, Dirce is being tied to a bull as punishment for a cruel treatment of Antiope. In the other living room, we have a fresco showing a satyr playing a pan flute. 3 skeletons were also found in this room, carrying a pick, a hoe, and 6 beads which were wrapped in cloth. This could have been servants of the house. 10 additional skeletons were found in a corridor like this one. You could still see a breach in the wall here where they tried to escape the eruption. 2 more skeletons were found in a small bedroom, not accessible to visitors today, one of a man and of a girl. The man had a leather purse, which contained a silver bracelet, silver rings, a silver spoon, and over 90 silver and 2 gold coins, which is a considerable sum of money. A seal was found in this room with the name Q. Pompeii, and also the name Erotus. Because of this, it has been suggested the villa was once owned by Quintus Pompeius, who may have been a relative of Poppaea Sabina, wife of Emperor Nero. The skeleton could have been that of a trusted freedman named Erotus. The south wall, furthest from the entrance, contains a fresco where the house gets its name. Menander was a Greek playwright who was born in the 4th century BC. His comic plays won first place 8 times in a festival called the Linnaea in Athens, which would have been performed here near the Acropolis. Only one of his works survives today in its entirety, or almost in its entirety, which is typically translated as Old Cantankerous or the Grouch. Near the fresco of Menander we have another fresco of a Greek playwright named Euripides, who is famous for many tragedies, including Medea and Antiope, which we saw earlier. If you were to sit here near the garden, you would have been surrounded by two playwrights, one famous for writing comedies and the other for tragedies. On either side of the fresco of Menander, there are two alcoves. These likely would have contained benches and used as a place to sit down by the garden. This alcove shows an image of Venus and Cupid in a temple. The other alcove shows a hunter named Actaeon, who was turned into a deer by Diana after she caught him spying on her while she was preparing for a bath in a spring. He was then hunted by his own dogs. In the last room on the south wall, we have a shrine to the household ancestors. Excavators made casts of the wooden statues that were once here. On the west wall, there is an area that leads to a bath complex. Only a portion of it is visible to tourists today, but it contains original mosaic floors throughout. This room, known as the Green Room, was likely another dining room. The frescoes are not as well preserved here, but you can make out Perseus holding the head of Medusa. On the floor we have a scene of mythical pygmies in a boat on the Nile River. In the basement of the house, over 100 pieces of ornate silver were found perfectly preserved, along with gold jewelry and coins. The silver contains various scenes, including nature scenes, chariot racing, and some of the labors of Hercules. Near the entrance is a well-preserved lavarium, which is where the Romans would say daily prayers to their household deities. This slab here is a plaster cast made by the excavators of a wooden lattice which was once here. There was also a second story above this area which collapsed during the eruption. It is unclear which rooms existed on the upper floor, but 3 skeletons were found wearing gold jewelry. Thank you for joining History Victorum. Feel free to check out our other videos.